Hey guys, today I want to talk to you about car loans and why I believe that car loans are not a good idea. The reason why I wanted to talk about this subject today is because so many Americans have car loans today. We're going to be talking about a few different things today when it comes to car loans. For example, why they're not a good investment, why car loans destabilize you. We're going to be talking about how car loans can prevent you from being able to get into real estate and purchasing a property. And we're also going to be talking about how car loans can prevent you from retiring early. Now, before we get into that, I just want to show you a quick clip from Dave Ramsey.
Today's question comes from Ethan in Texas. He says, Dave, I'm starting to look at buying a vehicle to replace my current ride, which seems to have an impending death sentence. I only have about $2,000 saved up towards the vehicle at the moment. If I would be putting aside money each month that is roughly equal to a car payment, why not just buy the car with a loan? What's the benefit of this? I currently have no debt, and it just seems too convenient not to buy the car and have it right now. Well, that's what most people do, and most people are broke. If you stay out of car payments the rest of your life, it is one of the key elements, one of the key data points that indicates towards building wealth. The average car payment in America today is $507 a month over 84 months. Were you to invest $507 from age 30 to age 70 instead of screwing around with car payments, you would have, from age 30 to age 70, you'd have about $5.6 million. I hope you like the car.
Now, Dave was a bit harsh with the caller, and I think the reason is that a lot of people have that same mindset, is that, hey, I'm putting this money aside to buy a car, so why don't I just take that money, get the benefit of having the car now, and just put that money towards car payments? The first thing that I want to talk to you about is why getting a car loan is a bad investment. Look, for the most part, when it comes to the rates that you're going to be getting on cars and the type of cars that you're going to be able to finance, generally, we're looking at a newer car, something that will cost you upwards of 15, 20 grand. And oftentimes people can get, let's say, 0% interest. But at that point, you're looking at a brand new car, a car of the year. Now, the reason why, first of all, you don't want to get a car of the year, a brand new car, is that the minute that you drive that car off the lot, it loses 10 to 20% of its value. So you are already falling behind the line. You already didn't get a good deal. The other thing to think about is that when you buy a car and you finance that car, you will always pay more for that car than what it's worth. Over time, cars obviously depreciate in value, unless you're getting like a Lamborghini of a certain years or something like that. But for the most part, it is gonna fall in value. So let's say you get a car for $15,000, right? Over the span, let's say you got the loan for, I don't know, most people do 3 to 5 years, right? In those 3 to 5 years, maybe that car depreciated $2,000, $3,000, right? And now over the span of the loan, maybe you're spending another 2 to 3 grand. So in total, you actually lost about $6,000 in that car. And I think that that's something that people don't think about when you're looking at car payments and car loans. The other thing that I want to talk to you about is that when you get a car loan, it does destabilize you, meaning that now you have another expense that you need to account for every single month. So those $500 that you're going to be spending on that car need to come from somewhere. So God forbid you or your spouse loses your job. Now that's an extra payment that you need to worry about in a time of need. And if you really think about it, if a person would have minimized the amount of payments that they had to make, aside from the essentials, like, if they would have eliminated car payments, if they would have eliminated any car debt, then I think a lot of people would be in a lot better situations than what they are today. Now, the third thing that I want to talk to you about is how car loans can prevent you from getting into real estate, from investing for your future. All right, so we are here at Investopedia, and what I want to talk to you about very quickly is debt to income, DTI. What is debt to income ratio? The debt to income DTI ratio is a personal finance measure that compares an individual's monthly debt payments to his or her monthly gross income. Let's read very quickly the three key takeaways here. The debt to income DTI ratio measures the amount of income a person or organization generates in order to service a debt. A DTI of 43 is typically the highest ratio a borrower can have and still get qualified for a mortgage, but lenders generally seek ratios of no more than 36. And one of the keys to you getting a loan is that you want to be as attractive as possible for these banks in order for them to consider you for a loan. Now, I just want to go over one fairly quick example here. So John is looking to get a loan and is trying to figure out his debt to income ratio. John's monthly bills and incomes are as follows. He has a mortgage, he has a car payment, he has a credit card, and then he has a gross income of $6,000. And this, we're talking about monthly here. Okay, so John's total monthly debt payments is $2,000. So $2,000 equals his expenses here. So John's DTI ratio is 0.33. All right, and that's simple. You take the 2,000 and you divide that by the income, and that puts him at 33. And as we remember from what we read earlier, banks look for anything that is no more, here it is, no more than 36. So he's cutting it close, but he's still most likely going to be approved, or at least his DTI is not going to count against him. Now, I wanted to bring this up because a lot of us consider getting into a car loan early on in our careers when we get out of school, when we are not making necessarily $6,000 a month. Maybe we're making $4,000 or something like that. And that can prevent you from investing in real estate early on in not only your career, but in your life. And as we know, the earlier that you invest, the earlier that you can take advantage of compound interest. And over time, compound interest is going to work for us in order to allow us to generate and build more wealth. And the last thing that I wanted to touch on was retiring early. Now, this is something that you may not be considering right now, but believe me, you will start to think about this in time. And retiring early doesn't necessarily mean that you're not working, right? It just means that you are at a point in your financial journey where you don't necessarily need to work in order to sustain your lifestyle. So if you eliminate any car debt and any credit card debt or any other debts that are not generating an income for you, then you're better positioned to reach that retirement early goal a lot sooner than if you were to keep those types of loans in your life. Look, I understand that a lot of people today have car loans. I get it. Believe me, I was just out to dinner not too long ago with a good friend of mine, and he does Uber and Lyft for a living. That's what he's doing at the moment to generate an income for himself. And he does have a car loan for the car that he drives. And even he said to me, listen, man, I know that this is stupid, but at the time, with the resources that I had, I needed a car, something reliable, and that's why I got into the car loan. So believe me, I understand that there are situations where there was no other choice for you in the moment but to get that car. But at the same time, it doesn't negate the fact that a car loan is not the greatest investment out there. And after speaking to some people, I think that I'm also going to be doing a couple of videos on if you are currently in a car loan, maybe give you some tips on things that you can do to get out of that car loan. And hey, if at the end of the day you don't want to listen to me and you say, hey Manny, I don't necessarily think that you're right on this one, I do want to get a car loan, I don't think it's a big deal, then maybe I'll leave some tips in a future video on how you can get a car loan and and minimize that damage on that car debt. Anyways, I hope that this helps you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.